One love and wellness. One love and wellness. Love plus art equals wellness. Heart Happy Hour season 5. We're at the water again. One of my favorite places, right? Is next to the water. So I try to explore all the different ones that are nearby that, will kind of turn into a vacation sort of situation. Something that will allow me to take a breather, take a break, and forest or how did they say forest bathe, bathe in the ions off the water. So I'm basically talking today about something, a conversation I had with someone earlier today. So the conversation I had with them prompted me to want to share something with you guys because it's definitely um, some interesting information. So, hi, One Love and Wellness. Love plus art equals wellness. How y'all doing today? Just checking in. Didn't haven't talked to you guys in a week or so, but love plus art equals wellness. And I just wanted to share a few tidbits with you guys before it gets too far off of my mind. So today I had a conversation. The young lady asked me, she says, one of my colleagues, she says, hey, is there anything else you want to say before we finish our conversation? Because we talked about some pretty private and intimate kinds of information, but we were sharing solutions with each other on, like some co-coaching. I'm coaching her, she coaching me, and we ain't supposed to be coaching each other, but that's the way it turned out. So she's telling me her side, her life and all these things, and it made me think about some things that had happened in my life. So when she said that, I was ready. I actually just took a couple of seconds to recap and like, oh yeah, let me tell you about this. So you know, Matrix moments. I had some Matrix moments. I'm gonna start driving because I only wanted to give you guys a glimpse of the water, and I'm not parked legally in this parking place. I just wanted to let you guys see what was happening in the at the water. Okay, but so yeah, so I shared with her. I went back a little bit, but I shared with her that I had had some Matrix moments and some Harry Potter moments. And when I say Harry Potter, I don't say Matrix. I mean go through the phone experiences. And so that is what I wanted to be able to kind of share with you guys today. I've shared that on various episodes, and usually not on the same episode. But when I spoke with her to share with her about the two people that I had those experiences with, those two people were otherworldly beings. So Mr. Charlie was the person with whom I had the walk through the wall moments. But the Matrix moments happened after the walk through the wall. So Harry Potter happened first, and then Matrix sort of thing happened. So this looks like some stuff going on there. Boring snooze. I know, Z. I know. Pick it up. I want to tell you about this guy that he told me he was still watching me. The last time I saw him, he shows up at places where I am, even when I don't announce where I'm going to be. But this guy, I might as well say his name. So Gus would call me, and when he would call, I would pick up the phone. This happened like 10 times. I picked up the phone and I would be just stuck there like this. And being stuck there until whatever that episode was had finished. There was no, as soon as I said hello, it was like zip, just like in the movie. But this is before the movie happened. My consciousness would be off somewhere, and I'd be like a deer in the head, deer in the headlights, just stuck, with the phone on my head. So I was dating a guy at the time, and I told him about it. He actually had, I think he was very, very sensitive, in touch with his sensitivities. And when I say that, I mean, his higher sensitivities, his ascended. sensitivity. So anyway, I had told him, I was like, hey, if you ever see me look like this when I'm on the phone and it's stuck in a stare, you know, come and get me. Get the phone, whatever. Take me, get me out of that, because I had been telling my secretary, I was like, hey, when these people call, if it's too good to be true, just don't take the call. Just take a message and take a number. My secretary. So she would get food every time. Luther Vandross's agent is on the line. Patti LaBelle's agent is on the line. All these different crazy, far-fetched things that this person would say when they would call. And she would put the phone right through, and I'm telling her, if it's too good to be true, if it sounds like this big grandiose, because I wasn't at that level. I was doing shows, I was booking shows, but not at that level. So anyway, so finally, when my companion came in and he picked, he saw me on the phone like that, stuck in my stare, he took the phone from me, said something to the guy. Some kind of way he was able to communicate with what they were. It didn't affect him, maybe because I was, already connected. But when I woke, he was actually putting the phone on the receiver. That was one of those landline scenarios back then. But after I had started, because I, as a 5-year old, had my first walk through the wall experience. So now that I'm thinking about it, now that I am recalling correctly, at 5 years old, my first experience and I did that at least about 5 or 6 times, walking through the wall. And when I say that, it really doesn't register, but I had found a zone, a particular area where I, when I went there, some kind of way, my energy would match the energy of being able to go through that throughway. And then, I'd be on the other side. Now, I couldn't see back into where I had just come from. This was like a whole new opening, a whole new gateway, a whole new door, a whole new vortex. I went somewhere else. And so, to prove that to myself at 5 years old, I actually took a pack of barrettes with me through that wall, through that experience, through that portal, and came back. What I decided was, if I take it with me, I leave it there and I come back and don't have it with me, I went somewhere. At 5 years old, I proved it to myself. I had to prove it to myself, because even I didn't believe it. I just, nobody, it was nobody for me to talk to and ask, hey, does this ever happen to you? Which I've had that happen a couple of times, where different things have happened and I've said something to somebody, hey, does this ever happen to you? And they always look at me like real strange, like, really, whatever, because there was one time I was in the beach, at Ocean Beach in California, I want to say in LA. But I went to this beach, and as I walked over a certain area out, right in the beach area, I felt like I elevated and walked across like air instead of walking, on the sand. And once I had come down, and because I was on my way to walk to, so I was walking to, I saw something ahead of me. I wanted to walk to that. And as I walked to it, that's when I walked on that pocket of air. And so when I got to that where I was going, I was like, hey, you guys ever had this happen? Has this ever happened? Interestingly enough, that person has says, let me introduce you to Glenn. And Glenn is the guy who has had these elevated experiences. And he even talked about, he had been with, I don't know if you want to call it an ET, but yeah, he said he had been abducted several times, and he had had various things happen to him and so on. So instead of telling me about the elevation and the levitation, he referred me over to the ET specialist, the guy who had all this experience with these ETs, right? So, yes, I do think that these two people that I had these Matrix moments with, or had these Harry Potter and Matrix moments with, were not from here. So, Harry Potter moments, as an adult, when that happened, because it happened my first time when I was 5 years old, but when I got to the adult part of it happening, this guy I met, was a nuisance to, I didn't want to pursue anything with him per se, did not romantically at all have any spark or interest in him. But I ended up giving him my number after about the 25th time of him asking at this party. This was a high level party. This was like producers and major, major money in the house, major, people who had major careers that were in the house, right? You know, some of the pictures on the wall were Sidney Poitier, Stevie Wonder, major people that had been at that house and that had been with this particular. This was a producer's house that we were at. So by the time the end of the night came, apparently his brother is who this guy was, Mr. Charlie. So Mr. Charlie followed me around. Finally, I gave him the number. We went out. Our first time going out was a crazy episode because he's like, well, let me order for you. And so he ordered the meal that I wanted down to the brandy, Grand Marnier in a brandy snifter warmed. This is me. I'm just thinking it in my head, and he's taking it, and he's all, you know, spouting it out to the waiter. And I was like, that's interesting. That was very interesting to me. That was like, what? I mean, I knew at the age of 14, my stepmother, I knew that she had given me some lessons in telepathic communication. She was my first recognizable, like I had had it happen before, but I didn't know what was happening. But she was the first recognizable person that I had had that experience with, of hearing what she was thinking in her mind, and she was projecting that energy, that communication to me. And I was like, again, what? That was so crazy. But yeah, at 14, that was my first, and she gave me books on the gift of healing, and she assisted me in, energy work, and she gave me the book Back to Eden, but then I had already been reading about astronomy, astrology, cardology. I was reading already, doing charts, astrological charts and so on. But at some point, I got away from all that stuff and just started doing my senses, my sensitivity. Like, what am I? Am I the one that, let's say, do not smoke? What is that? Ghost TV. Hi, Ghost. And hi, Melanie. I try not to make it boring, but I am telling my story. That one guy, me too, only me. What is this that they say up here? Some kind of advertisement. Okay, guys. So yeah, so I didn't want to keep you long today. I just wanted to share with you some of my, formative moments in my super sensitivities, my experiences of multi-dimensional is coupled in with that, because I am doing things like sun gazing. I am downloading things. I am experiencing, all through my life, I've experienced, folks communicating with me, folks giving me messages, even having some dialogues, some short range and some close, some farther away. I've had that dual or tandem dreams where I've had experiences where the person that either was in the room with me or in the building, the whole apartment building, someone in that apartment building having these dual dreams with me or tandem dreams with me. So I really feel like, you know, this July, this is an open gateway. This July, I mentioned before that we are in a period where, for the month of July, first off, the Milky Way is visible with the naked eye this summer. So that means that the energies, you know, let's say the if the light takes a certain amount of time for it to get to us, now that we're receiving that energy or the light from that energy, and now that we are in this gateway, I'm finding myself in a super sensitive place right now. This is Cancer time. This is time, oh, Cancer is just being over. So during that time I was feeling a lot of emotions, energy and emotion. The energy is high right now, the temperature is high right now, the There's in the heat. There's a lot of, to make the heat, to be able to be at that high temperature. Things are like bubbling and popping and hopping and hot. Um, and so I've been getting that feeling in me that, things are bubbling, things are popping, things are hot. I told you I don't know if you saw this, but the last episode I talked about me having a sunstroke per se episode, from exposing myself to so much sun, thinking that I could at some point get more and more used to it. At the same time, I started cooking my body, and that's not a good thing. That was not very pleasant to enjoy, to endure. But anyway, I am just, wrapping up some loose ends of some things. I had a conversation today that stirred up a few thoughts, and I was like, well, maybe I'll go ahead and share that on my Heart Happy Hour, because I actually, when I share, it's usually because I've been bubbling up with something that I needed to express, that I needed to get out, that I would like to be able to share with others, that is a good possible lesson or some tidbits of some things that could be helpful for you. So while this gateway is wide open, all the vision boards should be done, or all of your plans should be written out. All of your, this is a hot time. This is Christmas in July, so all the things that, because you're getting, when December comes, you're getting ready for the new year per se. This is the mindset that, at that point, the winter is coming and we're going to be hibernating per se. So if we're in that hibernation place, then you will be doing something like, and maybe since the phone is, sorry about that. But yeah, so do your vision boards, do your mantras, plan out whatever you can. Even if you don't plan it, think on it. Even if you don't write it, speak on it. Even if you don't speak on it, perhaps, if you don't write, speak, or think on it, it's not going to be a success until you do get that energy generated, that energy started. So that's my thought, that's my advice. But in the meantime, these matrix moments and things continue to happen. I had something that happened this past weekend that, I have stuff all the time happening, and sometimes it's scary, and sometimes it's empowering. Sometimes it's, me actually recognizing how infinitesimal I am in this universe. And then sometimes it's like, wow, I'm a part of that big all. And, that's something that I've been really working on, is being a contributing part of the all, being able to give you some of my science of self learned lessons, some of my life hacks. My 5 words for supernatural wellness is a platform and part of my brand that came as a download on my sun meditations. Um, and so did the Gateway Meditation. So did the name of my company. So did the name Precious. These are voices that are, encouraging, or inner dialogues that are direct. Call, because when I got the name Precious, driving down the street, hadn't started my business for my jewelry yet, and the spirit said, call yourself Precious and call your business Precious Possessions. And I'm driving down the highway and I'm like, okay, that's it. That's what I'm going to do. But speaking of having that voice come to me, there was a time when I was driving down the street one day, on my way home, and I got a voice that says, when you get home, get a pad and paper and sit down. I'd like for you to take some notes and write. I'm like, okay, all right. I get home, I get the notebook, I sit on the couch with the pen and the paper, and all of a sudden, all this information started coming to me, and I'm like, writing it down, writing it down. I had like 9 pages of information once I finished, and it was very fast. It was very fast. So after I wrote it and I read it, I had no idea that I had written these things. And at the time I was engaged, I had been dating this guy for 13 years. And it was absolutely insane that the information it told me, ask him this question, ask him that question, present this information to him, and so on and so on. And I did that. And the response, the information was totally, totally like I told him things that he hadn't told anyone, and asked him questions about things that he wasn't ready to share with anyone. And he shared them with me and told them to me. So it was just absolutely like really, really miraculous kinds of things that have been happening to me all my life, all my life, since I was a little bitty girl until now. And so, Heart Happy Hour is one of my ways for me to express some of these things, get them out of my system, allow me to keep going and move on and move past it. And, today I had a really hard um, uh, conversation with someone, and I say hard, but, I really felt a lot from that conversation. Some things lifted off my chest and my shoulders, as well as my heart. Because, and when I say my chest, I guess I mean my chest. I mean my heart as well. Because what I was saying to them was so heartfelt, so deeply felt, and it wasn't about me. It was about them. It brought me to tears, and I don't know this person well enough to be crying about them. That's not me normally, but hey, one love and wellness, love plus art equals wellness. That was a healing. And so um, I am going to close and end this, and just would like to let you know, like, subscribe, and share with your girl, Precious Mother Love, on Love Plus Art Equals Wellness. It's definitely good to be able to have the opportunity to share these things with you. Thanks for joining me. Looking forward to the next time. I'll keep you posted. I'll have something hot and heavy and not boring the next time. Hope I didn't bore you today. No music, no art breaks. But hey, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and I just had to take a break and share. So see you again next time. See you soon. Hope you can make it. Share, like, subscribe. Peace, 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 peace.